Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Fauziya Zakir from Department of Pharmaceutics, Jamia Hamdard. Today we are going to discuss about module Nasal Drug Delivery of Vaccines from paper Novel Delivery System 1. So students, let us see what we are going to learn in this module. We will start with nasal delivery of vaccines, followed by why nasal route is the choice of delivery for vaccine delivery. Then we will discuss various delivery strategies for nasal delivery, for example, liposomes, virosomes, ascosomes, DNA vaccines, and finally we will discuss about mucosal adjuvants. Most of the human pathogens have a tendency to thrive and thereby invade at the mucosal surface. Mucosally active vaccines could be a rational and effective approach to treat these disease situations. Mostly the viral as well as bacterial infections begin at the mucosal surfaces, hence immunity against these infective agents may depend on the induction of a mucosal immune response. As a result, the mucosal route is the most appropriate and suitable method for immunization. Now we will discuss various reasons for exploiting nasal route for vaccine delivery. Nasal route of administration is easy, cheap, and can be relatively administered to a large population. It eliminates the conventional use of needles and as such risk of infection such as hepatitis and HIV, etc. is minimal. Mucosal immunization can be a better and safer option for younger children in the presence of maternal antibodies. It is observed that human systemic immunity declines with age, while the mucosa-associated local immunity of experimental animals does not malfunction with age. The nasal mucosa offers a large surface area through which uptake of antigenic material can effectively take place. Creation of both mucosal and systemic immune response is possible. Nasal cavities is rich in lymphoid tissues and the vaccines administered nasally in human beings. Nasal delivery of vaccines has a number of advantages and limitations. The advantages of nasal delivery of vaccines are: it is a needle-free approach and thus it improves patient compliance. It is a non-invasive drug delivery strategy. The dose of antigen usually administered is very small in case of nasal drug delivery, so therefore small antigenic dose is possible. Nasal route favors induction of both systemic as well as mucosal immunity. In addition, it improves immunity at primary and distal mucosal sites. The various limitations of nasal vaccine delivery are: it facilitates rapid clearance of the antigen, so desirable antigen residence time is not achieved for efficient action. There is inefficient uptake of the antigen by the M cells. There is lack of human compatibility with mucosal vaccines. This has led a number of scientists across the globe to search for better mucosal adjuvants. Mucosal vaccination can be achieved in a wide number of routes, which generally includes oral, intranasal, pulmonary, rectal, and vaginal routes. But out of these routes, nasal route is found to be the most convenient, suitable route and is hence found to be suitable for vaccine administration. The primary site for mucosal immunity in the nasopharyngeal tract in rodents is the nasal associated lymphoid tissue. Nasal associated lymphoid tissue is considered to be the rodent equivalent of Waldeyer's ring and the lymphoid tissues, also known as tonsils, which are found in humans. Waldeyer's ring is found to form a protective area at the opening of the pharynx to provide immunity. Hence, protection at this particular site is correlated with secretory immunoglobulin A antibodies, which along with other innate defense mechanisms provide protection from the invading pathogenic microbes. Murine nasal associated lymphoid tissue is a functional analog to human tonsils as reported elsewhere. But human immunity and biological composition greatly differs from those of the animal models. For intranasal vaccine development, in vitro models have provided a kind of reproducible approach in which phenotypic and physiological features of the nasal associated lymphoid tissue could be simulated. Steps involved in mucosal immunity. Nasal associated lymphoid tissue comprises of an organized structure of cells which includes dendritic cells, T cells, and B cells, which are involved in the process of induction of an immune response. These cells are covered by an outer epithelial layer of cells which contains a distinctive variety of cells known as M cells. M cells, which are present in the nasal associated lymphoid tissue, are known to be the primary sites of antigen uptake for induction of mucosal immunity. Particulate antigens are mainly taken up by the M cells in the nasal associated lymphoid tissue, whereas the small soluble antigens are able to penetrate the nasal epithelium. The induction of immune response involves the following steps. The antigen is actively transported by the M cells to reach the dendritic cells, macrophages, as well as B cells for processing and presentation. Consequently, the activation of antigen-specific CD4 plus T helper cells interact with the B cells, which develop into immunoglobulin A committed B cells. Immunoglobulin A committed B cells then eventually move to the effector sites, which includes the nasal passage, where they differentiate into immunoglobulin A producing plasma cells and secrete immunoglobulin A in dimers. Dimeric immunoglobulin A further becomes S immunoglobulin A by binding to the polymeric immunoglobulin receptor, which transports immunoglobulin A to effector sites for immune response. S immunoglobulin A are able to bind toxins, bacteria, or viruses and thereby neutralize their activity, thus preventing the entry of these microbes into the body or reach the internal organs. While this can prevent infection through the mucosal epithelium, there exists certain kind of pathogens such as group A Streptococcus, which can concurrently infect through the skin. The advantage of vaccination at the mucosal surface by intranasal route of administration is the induction of mucosa along with systemic immune responses, whereas conventional parenteral administration usually results only in systemic immune responses. Therefore, group A Streptococcus, another group of pathogens which concurrently infect through the mucosa and elicit neutralizing immunoglobulin A, which could prevent colonization of the microbes in throat, and systemic immunoglobulin G antibodies facilitating clearance from systemic sites. Various kinds of particular delivery systems are used for nasal administration of vaccines. These include liposomes, immune stimulating complexes, also known as ISCOMs, and polymeric particles, which includes virosomes. Particulate antigens generally utilize the transcellular route to reach to the lymphoid tissues and thereby target the M cells. M cells act as portals for entry of antigens to either regions. M cells act as portals of entry for antigens to enter regions containing professional antigen presenting cells, which includes dendritic cells, B cells, and T cells, thereby contributing to both humoral as well as cellular immune responses. Induction of effective protective immunity. Aiming to induce an effective protective immunity, these vaccines possess boosting agents known as adjuvants. Adjuvants are supposedly act by complex formation with the delivering agents so that immunogens are slowly released. Vaccine delivery systems include microparticles, emulsions, immune stimulating complexes, and liposomes. Immunostimulatory adjuvants. Toll receptors are the pattern recognition receptors located mainly on the B cells and dendritic cells of mammals. When these receptors identify the conserved molecular patterns of pathogen, immunity gets stimulated. Adjuvants are itself non-immunogenic, non-toxic, and biodegradable, but they boost the immunostimulatory property of the antigen. Now we will discuss the various particulate delivery systems which can be used for nasal vaccine delivery. First, we will start with liposomes. Particulate vesicles which are composed of varying ratios of lipids as well as cholesterol, enclosing an aqueous core in which a wide variety of antigens could be efficiently incorporated. The immunogenicity which is usually offered by the liposomes is mainly due to preferential uptake by the macrophages, pronounced ability to accommodate a number of antigens, protection of the incorporated antigen from the biological environment, and effects on the intracellular processing of antigen. Surface charge which are conferred by the liposomes have a significant influence on the immunogenicity of mucosal liposomal vaccine formulation. Surface modified liposomes with glycol chitosan or oligomannose coated have been shown to elicit both humoral and cellular immune responses, which were found to be significant when compared to antigen alone following intranasal administration. Next, we will discuss virosomes. Virosomes are particular delivery systems which are mostly composed of extracted glycoproteins from virus particles, and they tend to mimic the viral structures. The viral glycoproteins, which are usually present in virosomes, have a certain kind of affinity for the mucosal surfaces of the respiratory tract. Virosomes induce both humoral and cellular responses. They have been reported to be an efficient form of nasal delivery systems for several kinds of antigens, which include DNA and HIV proteins. ISCOMs are another strategy which is used for nasal delivery of vaccines. ISCOMs are made up of lipids and saponins, which are as an adjuvant along with an antigen, which are generally held together by hydrophobic interactions between the constituents. The essential constituents of ISCOMs are cholesterol and saponin. Their inherent particulate nature, multimeric antigen presentation, and potent immunostimulatory activity make ISCOMs an attractive choice for vaccine delivery systems. ISCOM incorporating antigens induce both specific, local, as well as systemic immune responses following intranasal administration, conferring protection against a variety of diseases such as influenza and hepatitis B. Hence, it can be inferred that the particulate systems are promising delivery platforms for nasal delivery of vaccines, enhancing uptake by antigen-presenting cells, resulting in a depot effect in protecting the antigen from degradation from the biological environment. DNA vaccines has an inherent negative charge which hinders the entrapment efficiency as well as the stability of vaccine formulation. For this reason, cationic components such as chitosan and polyethylene amine complex with DNA antigens in the form of nanoparticles or microparticles for intranasal delivery. Polyethylene amine is specifically used for intranasal delivery of vaccines due to increase in gene transfer in the respiratory tract. But high levels of antibodies were detected using polyethylene formulation when used for intranasal vaccination with DNA encoding influenza A, H5N1 or H1N1 antigens. While DNA vaccines have been showing promising outcomes for intranasal delivery, the technology requires further intensive research to develop effective vaccines for intranasal delivery. Mucosal adjuvants. Adjuvants appear to be required for enhancing the immune response of nasal vaccines. Toxins from the bacteria Vibrio cholera and Escherichia coli, both of which cause severe diarrhea, are potent mucosal adjuvants. But exactly how these toxins exert their adjuvant effect is still unclear. There are also safety concerns when these mucosal adjuvants are administered nasally. Although considerable effort has been devoted to reducing their toxicity for use in humans, the use of live attenuated cold adapted viral vaccines has been advocated as an alternative strategy because of their ability to produce a stronger immune response, more closely mimicking a natural infection. For some vaccines, a combination of intranasal administration and injection may be preferable for optimal protection, especially when an inactivated vaccine is used. This can be achieved by giving an initial injection priming the immune response, followed by one or more nasal vaccinations to boost the response. A variety of alternative adjuvant strategies are currently being investigated. These include liposomes, chitosans, microspheres, and bacteria-derived particles. One example is a promising new nasal adjuvant developed by a Swedish company known as Eurocrine. Eurocrine is based on a combination of naturally occurring lipids without any toxic effects. Mucosal adjuvants. An effective approach for suitable vaccine development mainly comprises of improving the immunogenicity of the antigens through the use of various kinds of adjuvants. Peptide and protein antigens suffer from a major setback of having poor immunogenicity and hence requires the use of suitable kind of adjuvants. But the existing, licensed and widely used adjuvants, which includes alum and to a lesser extent MF59, are not generally found suitable as adjuvants for mucosal vaccine administration. This is because they generally do not induce mucosal antibodies. The mucosal surfaces encounter an extensive range of foreign material. To accommodate this kind of prevailing situation, the mucosal immune system must be highly selective in encountering the antigens in order to avoid certain kind of undesirable immune responses as well as excessive activation of the immune system. Hence, induction of mucosal immunity is highly difficult and thus novel strategies are critical to be employed for the successful development of mucosal adjuvants in the near future. The major cell types that needs to be targeted by a mucosal adjuvant includes both dendritic cells and M cells. CpG oligodeoxynucleotides, FLT3 ligand and monophosphoryl lipid A, also known as MLA, represent dendritic cell targeting ligands, while FLT3 is a growth factor which is reported to stimulate dendritic cells. Bacterial lipopolysaccharide is also known to be a potent and effective immunostimulatory agent, but the major disadvantage associated with its use is extreme toxicity. Hence, to avoid such kind of toxicity issues, various kind of strategies were followed by certain chemical modifications which resulted in the identification of monophosphoryl lipid. A number of preclinical as well as clinical studies have proven MLA to be a much potent and also found it to be non-toxic adjuvant. It is also reported to be used extensively as an adjuvant in human vaccine trials for several kinds of infectious diseases as well as cancer. The effectiveness of MLA as a mucosal adjuvant was studied in detail following intranasal administration of a formulation of MLA added to soluble antigen or certain liposomes encapsulating antigen. The antigen formulation of liposome with MLA used as an adjuvant resulted in certain immunoglobulin A responses which were found to be significantly higher than those observed in mice immunized with liposome antigen or free antigen without MLA. These results demonstrated the effectiveness of MLA as an adjuvant for potentiating mucosal immune responses. M cells provide a wide portal of entry source for a wide variety of pathogens through which they can invade the host. Proper and detailed identification of the molecules which are preferentially required for bacterial or viral entry through the M cells may provide a rational basis for developing an effective mucosal adjuvant or delivery system. For example, it was previously reported that reoviruses initially infect through M cells using their surface protein sigma 1. An M cell targeting DNA vaccine formulation consisting of plasmid DNA and the reovirus Pro1 induced significant kind of mucosal as well as systemic immunity. This suggests that M cell targeting could be a promising and effective approach for the development of a suitable mucosal vaccine. The above examples illustrate one of the strategies which could be widely employed to facilitate the development of novel mucosal adjuvants. But still, mucosal adjuvants suffer from two major hurdles and hence should overcome those effectiveness and safety. Lipopolypeptides of bacterial origin or the synthetic derivatives also represent a major potent class of immunostimulants which can be efficiently given in combination with peptide or protein antigens. The immunological activity of these kind of conjugates usually occurs from their intrinsic adjuvant properties, which generally includes B cell and macrophage activators and their probable ability to induce maturation of dendritic cells, which results in promoting an inflammatory response. Generally, this effect occurs by signaling through a series of receptors of the immune system which recognizes these lipid moieties as pathogen-associated molecular patterns. Example of such kind of lipid moieties include tripalmityl S-glyceryl cysteine, dipalmityl S-glyceryl cysteine, single multiple change palmitic acids, and lipoamino acids. When lipopeptides containing PAM3 and PAM2 are administered intranasally, the developed constructs were highly immunogenic, which were capable of inducing high titers of antibodies and thereby efficiently sterilized female mice when administered alone along with saline. A series of lipopeptide vaccine candidates composed of Streptococcus pyogenes, B cell epitope, and a T helper epitope has also been investigated. The orientation of each of the component of the lipopeptide was serially optimized in order to elicit a strong immune response following intranasal immunization. The antibody titers elicited in response to these lipopeptides provided significant information for the design of an effective lipopeptide-based mucosal vaccine. Lipopeptide vaccines based on a palmitic acid moiety may represent a simple and idealistic strategy against pathogens which infect mucosal surfaces. Intranasal administration of a palmitoylated lipopeptide vaccine for human cytomegalovirus, which is a herpes virus, elicited both systemic as well as local mucosal cellular responses when administered intranasally. Lipopeptides offer various advantages for nasal vaccine development. Firstly, they avoid the requirement for the use of a potential adjuvant which has the potential to induce adverse side effects. Secondly, lipopeptide vaccine candidates can induce cellular along with antibody responses, allowing better control over the desired immune response. Current preclinical and clinical trials with lipopeptides supports the fact that they are effective, non-toxic, and can be synthesized using simple methods of peptide synthesis to a high purity and yield. The lipopeptide-based approach for the nasal delivery of vaccines induces effective mucosal and systemic immune responses. Now we will discuss the reasons for exploiting nasal route for vaccine delivery. Many diseases such as measles, meningitis are caused by pathogenic microbes which enter the body through nasal cavity. Hence, these diseases are ideal candidates where nasal vaccination can be effectively applied as neutralizing antibodies as well as specific cellular responses at these mucosal sites of pathogen entry can take place. The major reasons underlying for exploiting the nasal route for vaccine delivery are discussed below. The nasal route of administration is easy, cheap, and can be relatively administered to a large population. It eliminates the conventional use of needles and as such risk of infections, especially in poor countries with hepatitis and HIV. Mucosal immunization can be a better and safer option for younger children in the presence of maternal antibodies. The example can be illustrated by the effectiveness of the live polio vaccine when given at birth. It is observed that human systemic immunity declines with age, while the mucosa associated local immunity of experimental animals does not malfunction with age. The nasal mucosa offers a large surface area through which the uptake of antigenic material can take place. Creation of both mucosal and systemic immune response is possible. The nasal cavity are rich in lymphoid tissues and the vaccines administered nasally in human beings. It was reported that tetanus toxoid was administered by nasal immunization in the form of PEG-coated polylactide nanospheres, chitosan-coated polylactic glycolic acid nanospheres, and chitosan nanospheres. It was observed that PEG-coated nanospheres induced higher levels of tetanus toxoid in the blood compared to chitosan-coated nanospheres. On the other hand, 6 months post-administration of the tetanus toxoid, the high immunoglobulin G titers were obtained for those groups treated with chitosan nanospheres. Tetanus toxoid was also formulated with pluronic F127 chitosan or a combination of chitosan and pluronic F127. The results demonstrated that the combination of chitosan and pluronic F127 was superior to either polymer used alone. The use of polymers such as chitosan offers many advantages such as low toxicity, susceptibility to biodegradation in the biological environment, mucoadhesive properties, as well as drug penetration enhancement capacity across the mucosal barriers. In addition to this, the use of chitosan in several formulations has enhanced the immune response of many nasally administered vaccines such as influenza, pertussis, as compared to the systemic administered vaccines. In these cases, it has been observed that there is increased immunoglobulin G responses. Chitosan is a non-toxic linear polysaccharide produced by chitin deacetylation. Chitin is a naturally occurring polymer found in the exoskeletons of insects and crustaceans. As a cationic polymer, chitosan interacts with the negatively charged mucin present in the mucus by ionic interactions. Mucociliary clearance is decreased and a transient effect on the paracellular transport of antigens has been observed. In addition to being a mucoadhesive, chitosan has also been reported to have adjuvant properties that enhance both humoral as well as cellular immune responses. Chitosan favors the opening of intracellular tight junctions, which facilitates the transport of antigens. Combination of transient opening of tight junctions and mucoadhesive properties most likely enables the interaction of the chitosan antigen formulation to interact with the lymph nodes of the nasal cavity. This strategy will lead to improved immunological responses. For controlled vaccine release, chitosan nanoparticles are reported to be effectively taken up by antigen-presenting cells and induce strong mucosal and systemic immune responses against antigens. Chitosan-based formulations have been used to improve the delivery and immunogenicity of a variety of antigens. One such example is the use of chitosan in the development of influenza vaccine. Chitosan has also shown very promising phase 1 clinical results in the use of influenza vaccine. It has also enhanced the serum immunoglobulin G titer after administration of diphtheria vaccine. In a study involving 25 human volunteers, chitosan formulation was found to be superior to non-chitosan formulation in inducing neutralizing antibody levels. The observed effect was mainly due to enhanced residence time of the formulation as well as opening of the epithelial tight junctions of the nasal epithelium. So students, let us summarize what we have learned in this module. First, we have studied that nasal route is an optimum route for vaccine delivery. We have studied the various delivery systems which can be used for nasal vaccine delivery, for example, liposomes, virosomes, ISCOMs, and DNA vaccines. We have also learned that the immunogenicity of the antigens can be improved by using mucosal adjuvants. Thank you.